Hello, this is Haiku, back for more deck techs of some historic Pauper options to play this upcoming midweek Magic. This time I'm going to go through the Ninja decks. So there is a mono blue deck, a Spirits deck, but I don't think it's very good, especially in best of one. It just really lacks any life gain, and so it struggles a lot to win. So I would not recommend playing mono blue ninjas or mono blue spirits for your best of one games. That you can certainly come to the Discord and check out those deck lists, but they're overall pretty narrow and kind of really need to be kind of helped out by sideboard cards to be able to have a chance. But I'd like to go through the four color options, starting with what I think is the strongest. It's really debatable between Izzet and Dimir as far as which version is the stronger run. So the Dimir gets a really big bonus in Changeling Outcast, pumps up your Spell Stutter, and also it's an unblockable attacker, and it also beefs up this combo, which is Malakir Blood-Priest. Basically, the core of all the ninja decks are going to have the two ninjas most of the time in full copies. You could supplement with a little bit of card draw with Of One Mind, because the ninjas are humans, and then you can have a couple humans in the deck, and then the rest of your deck is other creature types. So then it normally turns on Of One Mind. Faerie Seer is pretty good. I'd probably rank it as probably one of the best one drops, because it just sets up your draws and generally allows you to turn to Ninja, the opponent. Slither Blade. I used to think this was one of the best cards for ninjas. I've come down on it a little bit, especially because in best of one, you don't really have to worry about wraths. I mean, you still have to worry about main deck suffocating fumes, but most people aren't playing a ton of those. So it's a nice option to keep dealing damage and getting through. It doesn't hurt that it's creature type rogue. Also pairs well with the party mechanic. There, Spell Pierce, very efficient answer. There's a lot of non-creature threats right now in Historic Pauper, and so being able to deal with those threats for 1 mana is great. And then this other card I really actually like in black. It basically, so the ninja deck, normally it's able to get in for damage and ninjutsu. Where you really start running away with the game and snowballing is if you can get a second hit with either of the ninjas. Obviously, better if ninja devours. And so far, Clawing Torment has been the best enabler for that, and it also increases your clock on the opponent a little bit too. Fourth Bridge Prowler is just really great as a ninjutsu target, since you get the ETB and then it comes back and then you ETB it again. So it's useful to ping down 1 toughness creatures. And then Okiba Reckoner Raid is the solid 1 drop in black that almost every black deck I play with. The 2 life drain is huge as far as racing. This does play a little bit awkwardly with ninjutsu. Obviously, you're not ninjutsuing it even until turn 4, so it's pretty bad in that respect. But it's just so solid overall. You have enough stuff to ninjutsu anyways that you don't really rely on ninjutsuing a Reckoner Raid, and you just rely on it for the damage and the life swing to help you win a race. Spell Stutter, obviously, recent printing, very great. And then Malakir Blood-Priest got augmented recently with the bringing Kanzakar to Arena. So now we have another reasonable warrior with a really good ETB to take advantage of ninjutsuing him and the fact that you're generally crashing in on turn 1. So you have another kind of card advantage creature to complement the life drain. So overall, this deck is very quick, and it's able to race pretty well with the Reckoner Raid and the Blood-Priest complementing that. And then also it's always great to ninjutsu the Blood-Priest back to hand and go again. So just solid all around. You really do have to watch out. I mean, this deck has a ton of one-drop creatures, so you definitely have to watch out for Suffocating Fumes. And if you're playing against a red deck that looks like they're playing End of Festivities or the new copy of End of Festivities, you got to be very careful with that. And that will hold true for all of these ninja decks. I just attached a couple other cards to consider. Network Disruptor, you'll see in the other decks. I don't think it makes the cut in black because its creature typing of rogue isn't. You don't really need another rogue to pump up your party count that much. All right, so the debatable 1 and 2s are here. I don't know which one is better. So red, you get very efficient burn spells, and I don't even know if you want to be playing even the full 8, which 4 Fiery Impulse and 4 Frostbites. I elected to be a little bit cute here and play 1 Fiery Temper to pair with your Voldemort Epicure. Also, it can finish off the opponent with Wonder Glyph or with Moon Circuit Hacker shenanigans. Wonder Glyph and Voldemort Epicure also pair well with Lantern Bearer. You discard it, and now it's a cheaper disturb cost on this Alchemy Revised card, and so you can slap it on your ninjas and continue to get in for damage. So this deck, this version, the red version obviously deals with creatures really great, so you can play a little bit more of a ground game. So I decided to complement it with Goblin Tomb Raider. And then so you want to play enough artifacts to go with it. You could play the bridges. I really debated playing the bridges in this deck. I think it would be justifiable to play the bridges. And then I'm augmenting it, the artifact count with Ginger Brute, Wonder Glyph, and Network Disruptor. And then you also get the blood token from this. So definitely probably goes up a little bit if you the likelihood of turning it on if you play with bridge. But overall, just very fast. You only have 1 direct damage to burn to finish off the game, but the efficiency of your burn spells and the fact that you can do them at instant speed and then hold up your counters also plays really well with the deck. So that's Izzet. Then we get the 2. These are a big drop off from these, mostly because the removal options are a lot weaker. So in Azorius, one nice thing is Of One Mind gets turned on a lot more. I guess black also has it turned on pretty often. The other thing is Spell Stutter gets a nice boost because Fairy Guide Mother is also another fairy. And Guide Mother is very nice to get your ninja hits in for a second turn. And then Throbbing Inspector, obviously since it cantrips, it's always a nice 1-drop. And then the removal spells that you're left with in white are pretty miserable. Destroy Evil and Patriarch's Humiliation. Especially Humiliation, it's kind of a more win more card because it's really only going to be effective against the smallest type creatures. But it's kind of what you have to use. And then Destroy Evil is for the very large creatures, which kind of pairs nicely with Humiliation because you're rarely going to have more than 3 creatures for Humiliation. So then Destroy Evil can take down those bigger creatures. But yeah, so that's the cards you get for white. There's a couple other white cards to consider in the sideboard. I didn't really go into Dawnbringer Cleric. It's a nice and flexible card. It works really well against some decks, the Destroy Entanglement part. And then also you can get some value with the Exile part. And Humiliation also does really work well against graveyard decks as well. So that's Azorius. And then the last one, Simic. So Simic's big draw to playing green is you get to play with Savage Swipe, which obviously pairs really well with your ninjas. So the 2 power means that you're going to be able to clear a blocker and get in with a large ninja and force either some chumping or get in for another card draw or another looting effect with Moon Circuit Hacker. And then another nice card that you get to play with by going into green is Gearsmith Prodigy because the 2 power pairs nicely with Savage Swipe, so it helps you get in. And so I'm complementing it with those typical artifacts to go with it. And then that would be the same kind of argument as is if you want to turn on Gearsmith Prodigy more consistently, or if you want to have the instant to life gain And actually, in this deck, since you have enough incidental life gain, I actually think that you probably should be playing with the bridges. So the deck list below, I'll have the updated list with the bridges. And then here's some other options. Obviously, we talked about those other cards in the other deck. Green, though, has some interesting options with Snakeskin Veil, Llanowar Stalker, and Coiling Stalker. They're just not kind of there. Mass Vandal just kind of makes it just because in Best of One, you're really scared of the enchantment decks and the artifact decks, and so Mass Vandal can really blow people out if you have a creature in the yard, which doesn't always happen with this deck. It tends to be kind of a very snowball all-in, win or not. So sometimes you're not going to have a creature in the yard. All right, well, that was the Ninja decks. I hope you understand why I'm not covering the mono blue decks, and comment below if you really want to see some of those. Like I said, I don't think they're very viable to stick to mono blue. I'll be moving on to the black decks next. Hopefully you guys enjoy these little quick deck techs before the midweek magic coming up. See ya.